Welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Jake Whelan, and I'm excited to share this extra special mini interview series in anticipation for BlabberMouth Volume 3. With these conversations, I've had the opportunity to sit down and discuss art, photo, and pop culture with artists that are actively shaping the visual creative scene here in Salt Lake City, Utah. Enjoy this extended cut of my conversation with Jace Boyd, a videographer and photographer based out of Salt Lake City, Utah. Hailing from the Cache Valley area, much of Boyd's art showcases the great outdoors. In this interview, we discuss creative inspiration, the slippery slope of social media, and media that inspires us. I'm here with Jace Boyd. Jace, how are you?
Doing excellent.
So first and foremost, tell me a little bit about your creative process, where you draw inspiration from.
Interesting question. I didn't know you were going to ask me that. I honestly don't know. I think like a big part of photography and videography for me is just something looks cool and I want to see it again. And I think that I can do it well. And so I feel like that's kind of where it all stems from. Maybe a lot of it's opportunity based. So a lot of my stuff is like landscape, being in nature with friends. So that's where it all comes from, just like the beauty of nature and being there.
That's great. With a lot of your work, what's very present is you have an eye for quality, and especially in terms of videography. Like, there's not a lot of people that are leaning towards trying to shoot at high quality at all times. And I really do admire you for that. Can you speak a little bit more on that?
Yeah, well, thank you. That's very nice. I mean, I feel like I am like envious sometimes. I see other people that are creative in all aspects and like can make anything work. And I feel like for me, I like just can't. Like I'm just quite a bit more picky, I guess. So yeah, I mean, just like maybe it all kind of stems from my parents. My mom is super like always decluttering, like based off of, I would say, a really hyper clean person and don't want any extra stuff. And so I feel like that kind of extends into my art where there's no point in making it if I'm not gonna if I'm just gonna delete it in 30 days.
That's interesting.
It doesn't feel like something worthwhile.
It's almost like you declutter more of the artificial noise. If we're talking digital, you're physically decluttering in an art form too.
Yeah.
Are there any other art forms outside of digital stuff that it allows you to kind of take that step back and get a little bit more rough around the edges?
Definitely. In high school, I did an AP 2D design course.
Okay.
And so I did painting, strictly oil paint on canvas for that. And my teacher the entire semester was just encouraging me to let loose. He saw value in oil paintings that were loose and like kind of raw.
You want to talk a little bit about your journey with that great outdoors?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I grew up in Cache Valley, and so tons of canyons nearby and lots of things to do outside. I feel like my parents weren't the most outdoorsy people, but we still got outside and they had kayaks and bikes and go hiking and stuff. We had a family cabin up in Jackson Hole. We'd go up and go hiking camp, and so it's been fun. And then in high school, like when I had time to do it with my friends and actually be outside for myself and on my own terms, then definitely got a lot more into it, and having friends that are interested in that definitely helped. And then now that I'm in college, the freedom to pick up and drive like
anywhere,
Southern Utah or anywhere really, like has been super freeing. And
you do that.
Yes.
That is a thing you do.
Yes, it's very fun. I'm a big fan. I think we are so separated from what the earth is. We're so separated from our ancestral roots of however long ago it was.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I think it's just special to see like what was naturally here and reconnect.
I think you need that for balance as a human. It's like a little bit of a spiritual effect. Whenever I found myself being drawn to landscapes, which honestly isn't very often, I feel like it's when I've had these very serene moments in nature that I feel like need to be documented. That's why it's so important to have landscape photography, because otherwise a lot of people are just so far removed. It's almost like you see a lot in Utah. You have these extremes of like always outside, very core vibes, and then never very urban, they never have the opportunity to experience these things. So in your travels, when you're shooting this photography and sharing your art, I think it's people's glimpse into what their relationship with the earth could be. Jace, you famously stepped away from Instagram. Why is that? When's the timeline? What's kind of your whole thought process around that?
Yeah, so it's been since December of this past year. It really just was having like a negative effect on my mental health, and so I figured it wasn't worth it. I feel like I just like found myself like getting so caught up in all these people are doing something special and so cool, and they have all this energy to put towards being creative or doing cool things. So
Do you feel like that's changed at all what you're creating or how you're setting your intentions?
yeah, I think I don't have necessarily the same inspiration that you get from other people's artwork, which definitely takes away. But now I feel like I'm just creating stuff more for myself and motivated to make something that's really just special for me, not something that's special for everyone.
And I think what's so tricky, it's a slippery slope with social media of finding inspiration and then like only existing from what you're seeing, especially with this like AI era of constant generative things.
Yeah.
Like now we're getting to the point where we don't know what's human made, and so I think it's valid of you to like step away and be able to be a little bit more intentional with your time. Are you familiar with Ansel Adams and his work?
I'm not.
So he's one of the most famous landscape photographers, and he shoots black and white photography. He was very crucial in allowing the national park movement in the United States, especially back then. Photography was in its adolescence. His artwork led, I believe, Teddy Roosevelt and the federal government to prioritize the wilderness. And so I think that's a very similar sphere of when you're existing in this AI world, we need the photos of the outside.
Absolutely, yeah. Definitely on a much smaller scale than that, but that's awesome.
But like, I mean, I think it's like you can take inspiration from the greats like that and have your own perspective from it. Where do you most find yourself drawing inspiration from in terms of media you consume?
I think the main two, if I could pick two, are from music and from cinema. I think that specifically Lord's Pure Heroin has like been my main one in the past few years. I think
classic,
it's so special. Like specifically Buzzcut Season just speaks to me in some other way that no other song can. It's, I don't know, magical, I guess. And then I think good movies are in short supply lately. I think that everything has become so mass produced, and so a movie that actually is taken slow is actually a work of art visually and with a storyline and acting is super special, and I think that just inspires me to go to create something beautiful as well.
So you're drawn to kind of when you can see the intention, like especially being creatively driven by the details.
Absolutely, yeah.
Would you say you're the type to watch the credits as the film concludes?
Honestly, I'm not.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah.
And I get that. Recently I saw something, it was this TikTok user that said that their dad made them that much more intentional when they were consuming movies by making them watch all of the film to understand how many cans go into it.
Yeah.
And I think that's so interesting because we work or we consume, we navigate a lot of art, but we don't understand, I think, truly how many people and how many sacrifices had to be made for us to view it in the first place.
Absolutely, yeah. I think I had a realization like that recently. Like, I just finished up Breaking Bad, watching some of the behind the scenes stuff, and just the sheer amount of people on the crew is insane. I would consider that, obviously most people would, like that show to be an amazing work of art, and then obviously it took a ton of work.
Yes, yeah. Well, and I don't know, you kind of live in your own bubble, and especially if you're not in the entertainment industry, that's some people's full-time job, you know, is running the camera rig, you know.
Well, honestly, what a dream.
Yeah.
Like, that's awesome.
That's so amazing to be in those spaces, in the rooms where this art is being produced. Yeah. If you had to choose one and only one, what's your favorite tooth?
My favorite tooth is my front left canine tooth.
And why is that?
My front right one, I think I grind my teeth and it's kind of worn down a little bit, and it just feels so nice on my tongue. I like it.
I've heard a lot of people choose the canine, and I think it's just so visually stimulating.
Absolutely.
It is just different than the rest of them. Your row of teeth is shiny because of the canine.
Absolutely.
And then what's your blood type?
A positive.
Why are you positive about that? How do you know?
Because I donated blood once.
Okay.
There were actually multiple times where they send you your blood type.
Right.
So I knew.
That's very on brand for you, I think. The also just A plus.
Hell yeah.
Standing guy. So the other two photographers in this volume, they do a lot with analog and film photography.
Yeah.
Have you ever felt called to that medium?
I have not. And see, I think like a lot of people as of recent are super drawn to analog media, like film specifically.
Yeah. Are you calling them trend jumpers?
I would not call the other two photographers on this volume trend hoppers, but I would call
generally
a lot of people like that,
especially in the Utah culture.
Yes, exactly. Because in my mind, film photography takes even more work than digital, but at the scale that most people are doing, I think it's a little bit easier, and you get that natural, you get the natural look. It looks good.
Yeah.
But I love the freedom to change it, and I feel like doctoring a piece of physical media like that in Adobe Lightroom is kind of sacrilegious almost.
Totally.
To the extent that I would like people to have the control over my photos. I just enjoy digital.
And that's so funny. A lot of the film photographers I speak with, they said something very similar, where it's really special that they can document something straight out of their viewfinder and from the roll and then are able to share it. But I think also there is such the process of rendering and editing and going through the post-production is also so satisfying. Because do you shoot in log for video? Do you shoot in raw for? Yeah. Okay, yeah. So it's you get a product that is not the end result when you shoot. Like now, after you finish any sort of anything, there's still hours of work, which is a process.
But I think it's special because you can make it feel how it felt. It's more than a look, it's a feeling, and any camera can just capture your exact feeling because it's so personal. Your exact feeling in that moment. So I like to be able to do it myself.
There's a lot of discourse on new age photography and all these different skills of documenting an environment about like losing sight on what was true to form, true to nature. But I would argue that even if you're shooting straight out of the camera, you're still actively altering a space by the perspective and your framing and all of that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's no matter what, this art form is a lot of smoke and mirrors. And so for us to be able to have so much independence from all of this digital technology, I think it's so relieving. Like we're in this really cool renaissance of having so much technology at our fingertips.
Absolutely.
Well, I think that's all I have for you. Thank you so much for sitting down and talking with me. Is there anything else you'd like to share with the class? Blah, 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 blah. You can find Jace's work featured in the newest edition of BlabberMouth Volume 3, which releases on July 12th.